Hey everyone, Creameray here, and today we have David Paulmin, who is a Canadian soccer goalkeeper who plays in Norway for a club called Stjørdals-Blink, if I'm saying that properly, David. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Awesome. David, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. First, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. It's nice to have you on. You're all the way, you're a fellow Canadian and you're all the way in Norway. So can you take us back in time and share how you got involved into the beautiful game?
So, the thing is, in my family, it's kind of cultural. So, I've been involved even if I didn't want it to. So, I've been following, I'm half Italian, so I've been following like the national team. Club is just part of the culture. So, I've always kind of been involved with football. So, I started maybe with in gyms, kind of playing for fun. And then slowly I got to a club and just playing, and through the years it just got I guess more serious every single year. So that's basically how I started.
Nice. You mentioned you're half Italian. What's your other half?
So my dad is from Martinique, that is a French Caribbean island.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So let's tap into a little bit about what we were talking before offline about how hard it is for Canadians to go pro, because growing up in your time, you didn't, well, both of us, we didn't have a professional soccer system to look up towards to get into, which we have now, CPL. So how hard was it for you in Canada, and how'd you go pro?
So basically I joined we had the Montreal Impact, the MLS team, that changed their name now. But so I joined the academy in maybe I was 15. So already there I was regularly training with the under 18. So we had this league called USSDA, that is kind of like the top league, I will say, of junior, under 16, under 17. So it's through this that I start playing, and every weekend you get to travel to the US in bus, and then you play home sometimes, and you kind of have a first feeling of a pro life slowly, while mixing of course with school.
Absolutely. Did you end up going to school before you went pro?
So the thing is, Canada is not exactly like the US. So I was doing first I was in a sports program when I signed in USL, and then eventually I just decided to kind of, because I was training often with the first team as well. So I was training with the USL, with the MLS team at that time. So at some point I just took a decision. I was like, look, either I think it's I have to go all in now, and I'm still open to go back later and stuff, but I feel right now it's the opportunity for me to just to make it at that moment. I was thinking.
Nice. I could again relate to you on that level. I never went to school after high school, so I chose to do the same thing. I just haven't made it as far as you, so that's nice. Kudos to you. How old were you when you signed your first professional contract?
So I was 18, but I was turning 19 that year. So, but at the same time, that's the tricky part, is it's like a second team. So you're playing in a professional level, but I cannot say you have a professional lifestyle or contract on the paper. Yeah, but it's not really, in a way. You still have to, you still need help from your parents. You're still you need to, it's not a full-time professional, but you're playing in USL. So this is kind of a professional league. So this is kind of what you're using to develop yourself.
Got it. And you said the first team that you signed with was Montreal, correct?
So it was called FC Montreal, was the
Montreal.
Second team. That's how kind of they were calling the team.
Got it. And take us back in time. How did it feel to sign your first pro contract at 18? That's really young.
Yeah, so it was actually pretty exciting, because everything was new. Actually, it was the first year of that team in that league. It was a new project. Everything was quite new, so I really felt excited. And you get to travel, you get to experience some stuff that at a young age it's pretty unique, I will say, especially if it's your dream to become a pro football player, you get to play against men actually straight at that moment. So it was really special, like from day one actually.
Nice. So can you, share with us, you signed your first pro contract at FC Montreal, and then can you just name all the pro clubs that you played with after towards, where you are now?
So I play in Canada. I played in FC Montreal. Then I went on loan to Ottawa Fury, and from there I went to Kvik Halden in Norway. I played there a few seasons. Then I went to Egersund FK, and then now I'm in Stjørdals-Blink.
Nice. Again, that's in Norway. So people that haven't been to Norway, can you, paint a picture for those viewers? I've never been to Norway personally, so like I don't know what to expect. Can you share a little bit?
You know, as Canadian, it's not like a massive shock for like temperature wise, because example, when I first came here, because there's been some French players in the team before when I was there, so they were like, oh, you have to be ready, because those guys are not ready. Some of them, they come from like south or something, and they come here at 0 and they're like, oh my god, what's happening down here and stuff. So but me, it's not, coming from Canada, it's like, I will say it's pretty similar in terms of weather, and it's just the culture that is quite different. Like you have similar things, but here it's, I will say, more like individual. Like something is like, I would say, in the first look at, not as welcoming as in Canada, like for some social things, I would say. But after, when you get to know the people and stuff, you actually realize that it's actually really nice people and stuff. It's just like a different culture, I would say.
Nice. And I've traveled as well. Like I played in England, France, and the United States. I know, you got to be able to be adaptable, be able to connect with different people with different that come from different cultures, as you mentioned. So, and you got to be able to survive on your own. So, like, what advice would you share with players for traveling overseas and being with yourself while pursuing your career?
But definitely to adapt. So the first thing I will say is to be yourself. So if you start to, I don't know, acting up or like whatever, it's gonna be a hard time because you cannot keep up with, like, I don't know. If so, it's just me. Example, I'm a pretty easygoing person. It's not so difficult for me to connect with people. So it's just to keep that with new people, and it's already, it feels like you're going on an adventure anyway. So it's like you're on a trip and you're enjoying, it's, and what I like about this is everyone you meet, if example back home people have a certain idea about you, oh, you're that type of player, that type of guy, that when you're going somewhere, people have no idea who you are. You can actually set up your own, like, if there's something, the reason why you left that, I don't know, you were not happy with, or you wanted something new, but then you can set a whole new different base. So it's just to be yourself and to not be scared to actually be yourself. Yeah, that will be actually my main, like, advice, I would say, to like people traveling abroad, to be themselves.
Nice. Like what I've experienced, being an outsider and trying to, earn my position, but you're an outsider, so they don't really want to, give you their position. Like no one's going to give you your position. So like, how do you go as an outsider, a Canadian going to Norway? I mean, it may be a different dynamic for you because you're going over there with a contract, but you know, how do you go in there and earn the respect of the other players that are from that country?
Actually, my first year in Norway, the contract was, let's say, made up on the phone, like the terms of everything, but I was on tryout. And so basically they paid for my flight, and they told me, if you sign the contract, everything is good. But if we don't want to take you, or you don't make it, like, you have to find your way back home, and that's it. Like, so it was actually not made. And when I came, I remember I came, it was just before Easter. And here in Norway, Easter is quite big. Everything was closed and stuff. So I came, I think I had one training with the team, and I was straight up in the last preseason game. And it was like the deadline of the, like, mercato, of like the transfer market, was like this, like the day after. So I literally trained, play one half, and then it was decided for my contract, with counting a jet lag as well. Like we have like 6 hours going backwards, forward or backwards, I'm not too sure. So this is definitely like a big pressure for, it's not easy. Like as soon as you take the decision to go to Europe and stuff, it's gonna be like, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna take you out of your comfort zone. That's for sure. And the second part, what was the second part of the question with
Like,
the
you know,
part?
once you know you performed, you handled the pressure,
Yeah.
you got the contract, and then now you're playing with guys that don't know you. You might be taking up another goalkeeper's position. So how do you earn the respect and the trust of the other players?
This is the hard part, I will say, because first, I think personally, it comes from your game first, I will say. So, if you show you're actually a player. So of course, like I remember in Norway, my first day in the dressing room, I came, I saw like some guys say hi and stuff, and like there's some guys that just passed by me and they were just like going to their stuff, and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is what I'm going into. This is, and then slowly, you get to play. If you're a good player and stuff, they see that, and you communicate, then you socialize a bit after and stuff, and slowly you kind of integrate more and more into the team, and then eventually you like, especially if like, even if there's, example, another keeper and he sees that, example, you're better than him, it's fair. Like, he might not be happy, but he knows why he's, example, you're taking a spot. So it's like a fair. And at the end of the day, that's football. Like, even if you play local, even if you go abroad, it's even worse actually if you go abroad. But the reality is you have to take someone's spot. And if you don't do it, someone will take yours actually. So that's kind of part of the game.
100%. I've interviewed a couple, I'd say like 4 or 5 goalkeepers now, and I know, players, as players, we have there's like 10 spots on the field, but for goalkeepers, there's only one. So it's harder to make it as a professional goalkeeper. I always give kudos to goalkeepers because it's that much harder to make it. Did you always know that you were going to make it, or was it something that you were just having fun with growing up, and then like after you're like, yo, I really want to do this?
The thing is, I always like believe in my like capacities and stuff, and I was more in a position where I was like, you know what, I never felt I was really in a position where I could really express myself in the right like environment. So me, it was more about finding the right environment to express myself, more than thinking, am I good enough and stuff, because that's not really what I'm thinking about. I was always pretty confident in my capacity, what I can do. So it's just finding the right environment to myself express. And then of course, keeper, unfortunately, there's one spot, and when you're kind of a foreigner or something, it's sometimes it's all about timing. So sometimes you can actually be, example, better than the other one in front of you, but no, sometimes it's just about he's doing his game, and the coach, yeah, you need kind of a reason to move a keeper. So if there's no reason, you might keep him even if the other one might be better, but sometimes it's just to find the right chemistry together. So the togetherness could be that it's working with him. So it's sometimes just about timing. Sometimes it's just an injury and you come in, and then are you ready? That's kind of the big part.
Good points. Let's dive more into on the field things, David. I've never played a net. Um, I don't think a lot of guys have. Most players are outside players, again, due to numbers. But share with us, like, what does warming up look like? What does playing in the games look like for you?
um Warming up, I like to take like my time in the warm up, because I feel that's where I get into the game, like personally. So it's not personally, I think it's really personal actually, but I like more to have like good feeling, just to feel confident about like what I can do. I feel the work is done before. If you're like in the warm up before a game and you're like, I should work on some things, it's probably too late. So it's just to get a good feel, just to feel comfortable, either with your feet, with your grip, with your hands, with your diving, with whatever, and especially mentally. And from there, it's just like, as the game kick off, is I think it's all about the mentality that you have. Because for me, if you're going into a game thinking, if I make a mistake, you know, might be wrong or something. But for me, there's kind of two type of mistakes. There's the one like, if mistakes happens, but I'm gonna play my game, do my thing, express myself. And if I do bad thing, happens, but at the same time, I'm gonna express myself, and most likely, probably will do more good things than bad things. Or coming in and like, I cannot do a mistake, and sometimes you will actually not make any mistakes, but you will actually not do much more. You will just like play safe and just do basic thing. And for me, that's a mistake himself if you're doing that, especially on the long run.
Got it. Great points. What's the what things in your game? Because you're 26 now, right?
Yeah.
So you started playing pro at 18. You're 26 now, so you've been in the game for 8 years, almost a decade. So you have a lot of experience in the pro realm. Um, Almost a veteran. What advice would you give to your younger self or to the viewers that want to go pro and become a professional goalkeeper? What are three things that you could share with them that really helped your game?
I would say um, to really, often we think about ourselves all the time, like, I will do this, I will do that. That should be normal, like taking care of your body, the way you eat, the way you drink, the way you train, the way you rest, the way you sleep. This, for me, if you don't have this, then you don't have what it takes to be a professional. That's kind of the base. But from there, it's all of the you looking at the game in a way that how can I make people around me better? Because at the end of the day, you can have great performances, but you need like results as well. And to have that, you need to kind of, when you play, you need to make the team better as well. So this is not just about you. It's to, it's kind of, it's kind of a social thing more, and kind of how you put example, if you play with your center back, what are center back strengths, what are their names, how can you make them comfortable? Because after, if they're comfortable because they know, the keeper behind, he does the job, I like him, or he's doing whatever, they play better. And if they play better, your job is easier as well. But when you play, and I played in some team and it's everyone doing their own things, it's shaky. It's a shaky team because it's like one me doing mistakes, screaming, and then the other one doing that. While you have other team, it's like you're always talking. It's like always, it's like a constant communication. It's a constant, okay, this and that and this and that. And it's much easier for everyone after that. And then for the coach, then the best advice I could give is sometimes it's not about being the best. Sometimes it's about being the player that you cannot remove from the field. And that's different. It's there's things similar, but it's a little different between the two. And this, if you want to play, especially for a long run and to get the best of things, is if the coach look at the team, is like, I cannot remove that guy because yeah, of course he's good, but I feel everything is fitting together when he plays. That's how you're gonna get playing time, and that's kind of the most important that you can get.
Great points. Did you have an agent to help facilitate your career?
So I was in communication with like many agents. Some I was working with at different stages and stuff. Some they found me, like, I would say between Canada and Europe. There was a period where I was kind of looking for a team after I was done with Ottawa Fury, until I signed in April. So it's from December to April. Let's say I was like looking. I went on trial with one USL team. I had one USL team calling me. It was through one agent and stuff, but actually it was through a friend that the team I found actually was. So it's all about keeping as well those connections, because it's not just about being amazing, but at some time, if you don't get an opportunity, you have to kind of put yourself out there. You have to be social. If you play with some players, if you know some guys, if you know some agent, if you know some people, to always keep kind of your doors open, because you never know. Sometimes it's just like I said about timing. You need someone, and boom, your name is there. But you can be amazing, but if your name is kind of not there, someone else could get your chance. And sometimes it's sad because I've seen amazing players that didn't really get their chance, and after you kind of, after 1 year, 2 year without a contract or something, or looking for something, you kind of, pass to other things. So
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You mentioned an agent from USL1 reached out to you.
sorry, an agent.
You said an agent that was working with the USL1 club reached out to you.
The agent I had at the time was the thing is, USL1, USL Championship and stuff was not existing when I was at that time. It's quite, I think it's in 19 or 2020. This was in 2018 or 17. So it was just a USL. There wasn't like under, I think it was PDL or something like that.
Okay, got it.
So it was so the agent I had was because I went actually on tryout with a USL team 1 week, and I had another USL that contacted me through the agent I had at that time, and I had some as well opportunities in Europe, but that's the thing a bit difficult as a football player is you never know how interested when you hear interest from some places, and you never know how concrete it is. You never know, okay, is it gonna happen? So it's a lot of up and down mentally
Yeah,
for that part. So
I know. It's an emotional roller coaster. Um, this
yeah,
is
definitely.
this is a new one. I'm gonna ask. Do you have any like crazy stories or things that you didn't expect when you were either a pro right now or trying to go pro?
A lot of them actually. Good ones, bad ones, but you know, it's part of the adventure. I think when you go pro, the thing is, it comes from a passion. Like to be pro, like for me, if you're young and you want to be pro, you have to realize that it's not something rational. It's not something you're like, 90% of people does it. It's easy,
No,
whatever. So this is something I don't know the stats. Maybe 1% makes it,
no,
and
it's not. There's
not even. Sorry.
I'll drop this stat right now. Okay, this is based off 2019. So there's 250 million players worldwide.
Okay.
And this is 2019. There's 250 million players worldwide that play at different levels, and then there's only 130,000 professional players at that time. So it's not even 1% of
Whoa.
not even 1%.
Okay. So even less.
Yeah, and that's from let me put this on the record. That's from a FIFA report of World Cup in 20,
Okay.
not a World Cup, but a FIFA report back in 2019.
Okay. So you see, so then it has to come from a passion. It cannot come like it has to come from something that you have inside of you, like probably a child, from something that you're like, you know what, I'm going for it. But when you're taking that decision, it's gonna include sacrifices, a lot of things, but you have to, for me, put your head like, I'm going on an adventure. Like it will be a lot of highs, a lot of lows, especially, and you have to take everything because at the end of it, it's part of it because you're thinking you have some lows, but some lows I'm actually thankful for because I've been an example in a team that not, let's say, the right environment for me. And I'm thankful, example, that I quit that team and I felt, look, what happened there? And then a team hire picked me up from there. And I was like, okay, I'll take that.
Was that something?
So that's just an example.
Were you expecting that team to pick you up, or did it just come to you?
Definitely not. They DM me on Instagram. And first, I get a lot of DMs, sometimes random, and everyone does, some random things and stuff. So I was not really taking that seriously. And at some point, I read a bit more the message, like few days after, that I got it and stuff. And then I was like, wait, I Googled like the guy and I was like, wait, it sounds more and more legit. So, and after I was like, okay, then that's how I got in touch actually. So it just came like random, to be honest. It was really not expected.
Nice. We'll dive into the last question before we go into our fun questions. What's your most memorable football moment in your life?
Ooh, I have a couple ones. I will say my first year when I came to Europe, I won the league. And yeah, that was pretty special actually to like live a promotion. I cannot like that's a good one, especially to like start an adventure in Europe to win the league is like
That's huge. That's big.
that's all right.
All right, we'll dive into the fun questions. You got to answer them fast, David.
Okay.
So the first one is, who's your favorite team?
AC Milan.
Your favorite player?
At the moment or
It could be either or.
used to.
Both.
My favorite, like all time as childhood, is Kaká.
Kaká, yes.
And right now, I will say the most. It's hard to. I would say Mbappe is the most exciting one, probably.
Okay. Favorite cleats?
Superfly.
Your favorite food?
Pasta.
Favorite artist?
At the moment or all time?
Both.
All time Rick Ross. At the moment, I'm on Afrobeat vibe, so I would say Rema.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ooh, that's the question, huh? Can I have one joker?
I don't know what you mean by that, but sure.
Joker is like one question I can like. This one I cannot answer that one.
No, no. You gotta answer it.
I will say Ronaldo.
Okay. Have you ever played FIFA?
Yeah, play
Yeah.
here and there. Yeah.
Okay. Who's your go-to team to use in FIFA?
I would say Napoli.
Napoli. Okay. Would you rather save 2 PKs in a game, or to keep a clean sheet, or would you rather save 15 crazy shots in a game?
I would say 2 PKs and a clean sheet.
Yeah, nice. Would you rather? Oh, let me see. Okay, this is a good one. Would you rather? I'm making this one up on the spot. Would you rather?
Okay.
This is to win the finals of the league that you're in.
Okay.
Would you rather save a PK
Okay.
to win you guys the game, or would you rather score a PK to win you guys the game?
You know what? I'll say score. I'll be running around the stadium like for like, especially if it's like score. I would say score.
Hmm. And then the last one, if you were a coach and you were able to sub in any player in history to win you the game, who would that be?
It's difficult questions, huh? There's a lot of players. Have to sub in player to win me the game. Wow. I would say Ronaldo, but the OG one, R9.
R9. Okay, nice. All right, David, before we go, I just want to thank you for taking the time for joining us on the One Soccer Nation podcast today.
Thanks to you. It's been a pleasure, and enjoy. Keep doing your things, and congrats for your channel.
Thank you. You too. Keep killing it.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.